Welcome back everybody. Today I'll be looking at this tiny little piece. So you might be able to have a guess at what it is just by me holding it here like this. We have worked on a piece like this before. So this is a Belemnite, our favourite little squid fossil. They typically come out very, very nice. This one is less crystally, less of a crystal opal and more of a white opal. But you can see here it's a tiny piece and this edge does seem to be a little bit dominated with sand. But because it's fairly intact, I'm basically going to try to keep its shape, I reckon, more than I did so last time. Last time half the thing was sand, so I didn't bother and I made a flat edge. I might do the same with this one, but for now, depending on where the colour sits in the piece, I might just go around the outer edge, round it off a little bit, see how bad this sand is. And if it's not so bad, I'm actually going to keep the piece fairly intact and holding its own shape. So it doesn't look like much as is, pretty much nothing really. But we're going to try to get this and turn it into something much more pleasant to the eye. So I'll be back once I've ground off a little bit of this outer crust and then we'll see what we've got and we'll make a decision from there. And we're back. If we have a look at the piece now, get a bit closer. Unfortunately, the sand spot on that side is pretty solid. I thought when I saw this that it might actually only be bad at the end, but it's not. It's pretty deep all the way through. So, looking at the other side of it, there's also a ridge in here that's actually fairly deep as well. Unfortunately, that means if I want to get the most out of the colour in this piece, because there is a real good amount of colour in there, I'm going to have to deform the shape of this, which is not ideal since it's a nice piece of fossilised opal. And if it was bigger, I'd say I'd rather keep the shape than get to the colour. But for this particular piece, much like the other one that I did previously, it's too small to care about so much. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is take this right back to expose the opal, and I'll also do the same on the top here. And basically we'll just end up, this will still be the top, and it'll be a pretty high dome, nice piece of crystal opal. I think it's fairly crystal. It might be a bit of a white opal, but we'll see. It's pretty hard to tell at this point. It's pretty dense, so yeah. I'll just get rid of all the inclusions and we'll be back when it's looking a bit more like a gem, but unfortunately it's not going to keep its shape and look like a nice piece of Belemnite. But that's alright, it's only a small cross section anyway, so I'll be back once I've gotten rid of those major inclusions. Here we are at the end. So carved it up, attacked it with the Nova bits and finished it off with a bit of cerium oxide. I did a pretty quick job with the cerium oxide, so I might polish it up a little bit more, but not a lot more. This is pretty much what it's going to look like. So the front face has got every colour under the sun. It's got some huge reds, greens, blues, purples, everything in between. The back is pretty much the same. It's all very pretty gemmy. There's one slight imperfection you can see there. I'll get rid of that. I'll get rid of that before I decide on what I'm going to do with it, just because I hate the smallest imperfection, but I saw it after I polished. So it's always good to have a real good look. But yeah, it's a small chip out of that. I think that's part of the original face and I just didn't grind it back hard enough. So I'll go back to the coarsest Nova tip and just brush off the front, because right under that is some real nice colour. But I won't be changing the shape too much more from what it is now. It's a really nice looking gem. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. That sand was much deeper than I thought, and I've made it such a wide rounded cut just because that's the shape of my Nova tip. Made a much easier polish by widening it out a bit, and the colour wasn't that great around the edges where that sand was anyway. So yeah, it's turned out really well. I'm quite happy with it. And this is the first piece I think I've recorded that I've cut out of the Jennie and Shane $2,000 mystery parcel so far. So we're slowly working on recouping what we paid for that parcel. And this is a good start. I've already started another one which is just as good. It's a nice big piece of green on white. So yeah, I'll be back with, well, that video might be the next one actually, so we'll see how it goes. I do love carving this Belemnite material. It's just so colourful. I just wish that I could get a piece that holds its shape. But one day I'll fork out enough to get a nice piece of Belemnite, but for now we'll just keep working on what we've got. It's about all we can do. And I'll see you in the next one.